I'm Monty from Centurion Arms.
I'm Corrie from Centurion Arms.
And we are the owners, current founders and owners of Centurion Arms. Building the company kind of ended up being really a very organic thing. I grew up with my dad always owning his own business. So he always owned and ran his own business his whole life. Pretty much makes and manufactures his own product mostly himself. My mom has cycled through bunches of different businesses over the course of her lifetime. So I'm used to that mindset. I was obviously drawn to the military. My dad was a big history buff, which also led into a big firearms buff, military history buff. So I kind of always had an interest in the firearms. So I was always kind of a gun guy, if you were. I was always interested in as mechanical devices. I guess I always thought of it as like, what's the most effective a person could be on the battlefield? That's smaller groups of stuff. So that led me to be interested in the SEAL teams. And I want to say, I was interested in just special operations in general. My dad actually got me a book on my 16th birthday that was called Element of Surprise by Daryl Young. I remember reading that book, and that being the book that kind of made me decide that I want to be a SEAL. Like, I read the first chapter about buds, I put the book down, like, that's what I'm going to do. And then I did some push-ups, went for a run and some other stuff, when you're 16, silly stuff that you do. But so I put that down and like, that's what I'm going to do. That's it.
We met in high school and we were 16 at the time. So I was actually there when his dad gave him that book, and it kind of drove his passion from there. But yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
And then when we graduated, he basically, after that summer, went right into the military. He was a corpsman in the Navy. That's what he went in as, because that's what they needed at the time.
Well, they said they needed corpsmen. So basically what happened back then is the SEAL teams were structured a little bit different. Now it's its own rating, but at the time you had other source ratings. So you had other jobs that you went and got trained for, and then that made you eligible for the pool of jobs to go to BUD/S to be a SEAL. One of them that they said they needed was medic. So it wasn't that I had a medical interest, but I was just like, well, what do you need me to do? And they said medic. So I did that for a little bit. And so I spent some time being a corpsman before going to BUD/S, and then basically went to BUD/S. And then after BUD/S, shortly after that, I think you finished up with college and I'd finished up with BUD/S. We were kind of coming together as a career thing. And yeah.
And then we were married in 1995.
Yeah, we've been in military housing. We're in Virginia Beach for a few years, then back out to San Diego. And yeah, just living the military lifestyle, having a couple of kids, one boy, one girl. And then along came kids, and then dovetailed it into being entrepreneurs on top of that. And here we are still doing that. It kind of started with a set of sights that we did. We're big fans of the HK style sights. M4s and ARs are pretty much the most prolific platform. They'd come out with some on a military weapon for the HK 416, and we wanted to adapt them to the proper height for an actual AR-15. And that's kind of how the business originally started. Just a small little project, something I wanted to do, something I was interested in. And that kind of initially kicked it off.
Monty obviously designed everything and kind of set everything up so that we were having things made for us. But he was gone probably 75% of the time. We figured out about 75% of our marriage. He had been gone training or deployed. So we did have a website set up, a very simple website set up, and I would package and ship and take payments. And as the business grew, me and the kids would package everything in our living room in military housing and ship it off. And yeah,
that's how it started.
It is. He had been interested in a business, I mean, as long as I had known him. It was just a matter of flushing through, like, well, what direction do we go? And I think he just had the idea for those sites, and I guess I never even questioned it. That's just him. He just has these great ideas and makes them come to life. So
one that makes it happen. I'm the one with the ideas right out there, and she made one that makes sure that it actually gets followed through. That way the harebrained guy like me can run around and just capitalize on ideas, because I know I got somebody else behind me that can actually police up my mess and actually help me follow through. And then it kind of just led into the uppers with the Mark 12. I kind of wanted to get that out there, and I was able to really reach out and touch and understand what made the platform work, and allowed me to kind of get it out there. And then just as things went, we went from the uppers into the rails that we designed, into doing hammer forged hard chrome line barrels and offering those. And it was just stuff that I saw that I really liked, one, as a gun guy, and number two, just through operational experience in the SEAL teams, of what kind of stuff would I like, what kind of stuff would I happen to have, would I choose to have. And so I just think a lot of my interests, desires, and then also which pushed into obviously the business stuff, it's just really kind of evolved from that. So once again, the business was very organic. It's like, this little idea, let's do this, and you're selling this off of one page site, and then kind of into the uppers and the rails, and all that was good, but it was just it was very organic, and it was just kind of like pursuing each little interest that I had in doing it. But I think became much more real is when, like, our first handguard we ended up having a large OEM contract in business with regards to that first one. So we actually started selling a significant amount of rails, and for us it was a significant amount of money that was constantly coming in for years after that. So when that first interest came, and we've had multiple others since that we make other parts for, but really that first one was just a big leap forward for us in quantity of stuff, that it became something significant. And that was kind of like, oh wow, okay, this business thing's real. It's not just kind of messing around in the living room, packaging stuff, coming up with ideas and having it made anymore, or just building stuff by hand out in the garage. It became something a little bit more significant.
He ended up at the sniper school here in Indiana for your last 3 years, I think it was, as an instructor. And so he had been out here, and basically I was still kind of running things from Coronado. And he said he knew I had always wanted to live out in the woods. So he said, you need to see it out here. It's beautiful. This Brown County is really beautiful. You're going to love it. So I flew out, and we started looking for property, and we found a property that we absolutely loved. And we I can't remember how long, close to the end of his military service, I actually ended up moving out here, and he retired in 2015. And we brought the company over here. We dragged everything, all the boxes of inventory that we had in our house, we dragged it all here actually in 2013. So he was still active for 2 years once we moved here. We built a pole barn on our property, and basically just threw everything in there, and we got our first machine, our first CNC machine, because he decided that we were going to make all the stuff ourselves now, rather than have somebody else make it. So he watched a bunch of YouTube videos on how to run a CNC machine, because that's just who he is. Like I said, I never questioned these things. And he taught himself how to run a CNC machine. So we started making our own handguards in a shop on our property for, was it 7 or 8 years, something like that?
Yeah. But basically, things had just kind of like creeped along enough and grown enough that we kind of ran out of space in the shop, and we ran out of power. And there's even times when we were running probably over a year, I want to say, in the old shop, that we had like 5 or 6 CNC machines, and we were running 24/7 if we could. We were at least running 3 shifts, so we were running 24 hours a day, at least 5 days a week, for it was at least well over a year, producing all we could. So we had multiple shifts, making as much as we could, and just we ran out of time and space. We couldn't really add on to the shop anymore, and if we could add on to the shop, it was irrelevant because the power company wasn't able to give us any more power out there. So we're just kind of like, it's time to like look for something else. And I want to say it seemed hard at first looking around for, it's actually funny because we ended up in a building as we're driving around in the towns around us, like looking for property and seeing what's available. And I actually remember driving by the building that we're in now, and I was in a kind of a frustrated state, and I'm like, why don't they just give us that damn building right there? Somebody just give us that building. That's what we need right there. And actually, I had no idea prior to that it had already been a machine shop. So there was a huge amount of infrastructure, very expensive infrastructure that was already inside the shop that was already here. So very, I guess, fortuitous that I demanded that we get this shop given to us. Not totally given to us, but we did end up in this shop, and it ended up having a lot of stuff that was really a give me. So this shop was just kind of fell into our lap, and very, very, very lucky to have landed here. What I would say is there was just times when you had to make a leap of faith in certain things, and I would say like moving from the smaller shop to the bigger shop. I am very, very conservative in a lot of the things we do, so much so that that we've had offers for investments and stuff like that. And I've always turned all that stuff down. It's like I said, I didn't necessarily start with, I've got this, I want to plant my flag and I'm gonna build the biggest company. We've just enjoyed what we've done the whole way. We've started it, kind of let it grow organically, enjoyed what we're doing. And so with that, I guess I don't necessarily see a struggle because I'm not looking for a specific endpoint. We've just enjoyed the journey. Everything's been the journey. It's like, I'm driving the car, I don't even know where I'm going. I'm just looking around, enjoying what we can at the time.
You'll always see that path if you really look at it.
Yeah, I understand where people go, I want to do this, and they want to plant a flag, and they've got an idea of where they're headed. But I would say if you are that, make sure that you enjoy the journey, enjoy the road, because if you don't enjoy the process, it's gonna, it'll just make you miserable the whole way if you're not willing to enjoy the process. Luckily, I would say we've kind of just gone on the process, but sometimes you go down a blind road and take that leap of faith because you think there might be something down there. So we jump off to the new facility, a lot more machines got stacked in here, new products, a lot more demand for stuff that we didn't, just that I thought was a good idea and just kind of thought it would go, and then things end up doing very well. Sometimes the biggest struggle is to go ahead and go a little bit outside your comfort zone, to take certain leaps, to go forward. And I would say that's probably one of the harder parts of the business, just to be very conservative, but then take certain leaps of faith. And I think that's worked well for us. But if you want to approach it that way, I would say that's a great way to approach it. Just make sure you're enjoying the process. If you need to take steps back sometimes, then feel free to take steps back. Don't force anything. And then if you're wanting to plant the flag and go, that's where I'm going, just make sure that you take time to smell the roses in the place that you're at now. And I would say a lot of times when you feel like you see an obstacle in your way or that there's a struggle, don't look at it as a struggle, look at it as an opportunity. You have an opportunity to solve a problem, to become smarter, better, and move forward.
Obviously, family is very important to us.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing. You don't want to lose focus on family when you're trying to build a business too. I think we've always kind of put our family first, and that's grown into our business family too, and our employees. As we've grown, we started with one employee in the shop. John was our very first, who's still with us. Back when we were working in the pole barn. So we started with him, and we, again, very organically just kind of picked up people here and there, but it really is like a family, and we've got a really good core group of people now.
You're right though. We've got a good core group of people. It is kind of like a family, and what I would say is as far as a work environment, we try to be, relaxed, comfortable for everybody to be here. It should be relaxed and try to flex as we've put our family at the forefront of a lot of stuff. We understand that and try to understand that in employees as well. Some of the things that are important to us is obviously what I try to bring to the market is what I would want to use as an end user, special missions person, or just even an average citizen wanting the best product at reasonable, fair pricing for the market and for myself, for people to train with, for people to defend themselves with, for people to use on duty, any of those above things. So I try to, I guess, as a core gun guy, bring what I think is good and valuable to the market at a good and reasonable price, a fair price, as opposed to necessarily the best, because I don't necessarily want to cut corners on something to be the best price. I just want to have a fair price for the best product. As a company, I might be able to buy certain products cheaper than we can make them, but I wanted to be. Talking about one of the main things that's of real value that we hold here at Centurion Arms is, I know, yes, I did do 25 years military service. I know I did work in the SEAL teams and stuff, but one of the main things that drives us here is that we value the most is the civilian market. We are actually registered and certified to do business through SAMs and everything else, to do government business and to bid on contracts. And to be honest with you, we have done some individual sales, but we've never actually bid on any contracts for anything, because we've been very happy with, and our primary focus that we don't want to take away from is the civilian market. Once again, we want to give the best stuff that we can that is operationally sound equipment, stuff that I would like to use, but we want it to be out there for the everyday guy who's using it to defend his community, his family, whatever the things that they hold dear and true to themselves, and just have that stuff available for them. And they're our primary focus as opposed to chasing military contracts. It's just not something, we've never even made an attempt to bid on any. We went ahead and set it up, thought maybe someday in the future, but really, we've had it for, I don't know how many years now.
It's been a few years.
Yeah, 6-7 years, and we've just chosen not to pursue that at all, because we value the civilian market. And really what drives us a lot is putting the right pieces in the right people's hands. And for us, that's the Second Amendment community, the civilian population. Really, in our country, you're the front line of defense for yourself and your community over even law enforcement or anybody else. The individual is the one on the scene. So we really appreciate and honor the people that go out there and buy the weapons, they train in with them, and they keep themselves sharp with them to keep their community safe. And that's our greatest honor, is to be able to serve that community. So the civilian market is a dear value to us.
What keeps us going? Our customers, a lot of interest, a lot of emails. Obviously, I answer a lot of the emails. Just trying to get people what they want, and at the same time allow us to have our family time, and just trying to balance that. And
yeah, I would say that's all pretty accurate. Just kind of like when things get hard, I guess in some ways, you can get hard, things get hard, things can get frustrating, but at the same time, I guess I just kind of don't understand. I'm not smart enough to know how to quit, I guess. The thing is, it's just like, I'm just like going to grind it through. Just put your nose on the grindstone and grind it right off. Just whatever, not so much whatever it takes. It's just like, I don't know, just don't know how to stop. Even when you get discouraged or frustrated, just keep, stumbling. Lean forward so you stumble one foot in front of the other, because that's all there is left to do, but I don't know how not to move, so. She's the best. Everybody who emails knows how awesome and friendly, and she does all she can to take care of the customers. We plan on being here for a while.
we're not going anywhere.